The internet is in complete chaos right now, and for good reason. Saucy Santana and JT, two of the loudest, boldest voices in hip-hop, have officially crossed a line that no one saw coming. What started as playful shade on social media has exploded into one of the messiest feuds of the year. And this time, it's not just tweets and subliminals, it's private tapes, screenshots, and real damage. Fans are saying this could destroy both of their reputations for good. It all began after JT won half of the City Girls and never won two. Biter tongue called Saucy Santana tricky during a late-night live session. Most people thought she was joking, but Santana clearly didn't take it that way. Within hours, his mood changed from shady to downright vengeful. And when Saucy Santana gets mad, he doesn't just clap back, he exposes. Now, private footage allegedly tied to JT has surfaced online, and the internet is buzzing with speculation about how deep this goes. Did Saucy really leak it himself? Or is he just playing mind games? Why is he hinting that there's more to come? And how is JT reacting to this public humiliation from someone she once called a brother? This story isn't just about betrayal. It's about power, revenge, and fame colliding in the most toxic way possible. Let's break down everything that went down, starting with how this beef really started. The story begins like most celebrity dramas, these days, with a single comment that spiraled out of control. JT and Saucy Santana were once inseparable. They shared laughs, shade, and loyalty that felt unbreakable. Fans loved their chemistry, two loud, confident personalities who stood up for each other through everything. But in the world of fame, friendships can turn sour fast. And this one turned nuclear. It all started one night during a live stream. JT, in her usual unfiltered mood, was chatting with her fans. Between laughs and random shade, someone mentioned Saucy Santana in the comments. JT smirked, took a deep breath, and said, "Saucy, please. He's been acting tricky lately." That one word, tricky, changed everything. In street slang, calling someone tricky implies deception, manipulation, or in some circles, being untrustworthy in relationships. Santana didn't just hear it, he felt it. Within minutes, clips of JT's comments spread like wildfire across social media. Fans tagged him, waiting for a reaction. At first, he stayed quiet. But then, the real storm began. Santana went live the next day, not his usual fun, dancing self, but serious, cold, and deliberate. He said, "Y'all know I don't do fake energy. I kept it real with people who couldn't keep it real with me. Now, when I start talking, I don't want to hear nobody crying." That was the moment everyone knew something big was coming. By midnight, Santana started posting cryptic messages. "Don't bite the hand that kept your secret safe," he wrote. Then another, "Screenshots don't lie." Fans went into detective mode, combing through old pictures, collabs, and stories between JT and Santana. People began speculating about what kind of secrets he was referring to. Some thought it was about industry relationships. Others whispered about private tapes. Hours later, things took a dark turn. A mysterious clip began circulating on social media, grainy, unclear, but allegedly showing JT in a compromising situation. Within minutes, it was everywhere. Accounts were reposting it, tagging both JT and Santana. No one knew who leaked it first, but the timing lined up perfectly with his posts. The internet immediately connected the dots. JT single quotes as team moved quickly, trying to get the clip taken down. But it was too late. The damage had been done. Every gossip page, from the Shade Room to Hollywood Unlocked, had already picked it up. The hashtags #JTTape and #SaucyLeaks started trending. Meanwhile, Santana was on Twitter retweeting fans who accused him of being the one behind it. But instead of denying it, he played coy. "Y'all always blaming me for something," he wrote. "Maybe people should stop being fake and nothing would get leaked." The reaction online was split. Some fans defended him, saying JT disrespected him first by calling him tricky. Others said there was no excuse for leaking something that personal. The hip-hop community began taking sides. Young Miami, JT's best friend and City Girl's partner, unfollowed Santana within hours, a sign that this was serious. She tweeted, "Some things you just don't come back from." That one line made it clear this wasn't just gossip. It was betrayal. Behind the scenes, JT was reportedly devastated. According to insiders close to her, she was in shock and furious. She believed Santana had crossed the line for good. For years, he'd been in her inner circle, the person who saw her at her lowest and highest moments. They'd shared private conversations, backstage moments, and trust. And now that same person had weaponized her privacy. JT took a few days before speaking publicly. When she finally did, she went live and said, "I never thought someone I fed, loved, and protected would turn on me like this. I said one thing, and this man acting like I killed his career." She didn't confirm whether the leaked footage was real, but she didn't deny it either. Her focus was on calling out Santana for revenge. Fans flooded her comments with support, calling Santana a snake and canceled. But Santana wasn't done. He clapped back with a long Instagram rant. "Y'all fake fans love playing detective. JT wanna play victim, but she been shady behind closed doors for years. Y'all don't even know half of what I protected her from." Then, in a chilling final line, he said, "If I really wanted to expose her, I'd do it all the way." That statement sent chills across the internet. What else did he have? Screenshots. More videos? Private texts. The tension was unbearable. Meanwhile, industry figures started stepping in. Rapper Cardi B reportedly reached out to both sides privately, urging them to stop the public back and forth before it destroyed both of their careers. Nicki Minaj fans, on the other hand, used the chaos to throw shade. Since both JT and Santana had previously aligned themselves with different sides in the ongoing female rap rivalry stopped by this point. The story wasn't just about two friends fighting. It became a full-blown social media war. Every move, every post dissected by millions. Even brands connected to JT began quietly distancing themselves. One fashion partnership paused a campaign citing ongoing controversy. As the heat intensified, Santana started losing followers. His latest single dropped on streaming platforms, but instead of support, comment sections were flooded with angry fans calling him out for crossing moral lines. Some people accused him of career suicide, while others said it was karma for the way he'd treated people in the past. JT, on the other hand, started receiving messages of sympathy, but also criticism. Some said she should have never insulted Santana, knowing how unpredictable he could be. Others said no insult justified leaking someone's private footage. And through all the chaos, both remained defiant. JT dropped a cryptic post of her own. "When you play with fire, remember who taught you how to light the match?" Fans instantly speculated that she had her own dirt on Santana and could clap back at any moment by the end of that week. Both their reputations were hanging by a thread. The friendship that once looked unbreakable was gone, replaced by silence, shade, and scandal. The next part of this story digs even deeper into the behind-the-scenes fallout, the people trying to intervene, and the shocking receipts that might prove who really leaked the tape. Because if the whispers are true, Saucy Santana may not have acted alone. And JT's response could change everything. When the dust started to settle after the first leak, everyone assumed the storm was over. But it was only the calm before another explosion. JT had gone silent for a few days, and the internet thought she was plotting her next move. Meanwhile, Saucy Santana was doubling down, enjoying the chaos as if it were a marketing campaign. Every other post on his Instagram was a subliminal shot. He wasn't tagging JT directly, but his captions were sharp enough that everyone knew who he was talking about. "Don't throw shade when your whole life can't survive." Daylight. One of his captions read under a photo of him smiling in designer shades. The post went viral within minutes, and people knew he wasn't done. Behind the scenes, industry insiders began leaking new information. A close associate claimed that the video leak wasn't Santana's doing directly. but that he might have shared the footage with someone in his inner circle after a heated argument. That person, allegedly, was the one who posted it online. Still, the damage was tied to him. Even if he didn't hit upload himself, it was clear he'd lost control of something deeply private. Meanwhile, JT was moving differently. Instead of ranting online, she reached out to her management and legal team. Her team began sending cease and desist letters to pages and blogs still circulating the leaked material. They also started investigating where the footage originated from. It was recorded years ago before her career took off during a relationship that ended badly. That made it even more personal. But the thing that really turned heads came next. An anonymous Twitter account dropped a thread of alleged DMs between Saucy Santana and one of JT's old associates. The screenshots showed him talking about showing the world who she really is, though fans couldn't confirm if they were real. The timing lined up perfectly with everything happening. Santana immediately denied the DMs, calling them fake receipts. But public opinion had already shifted. The thread racked up millions of views, and hashtags like #CancelSaucy started trending. Influencers, fellow artists, and even fashion bloggers who once supported him began quietly unfollowing his account. And then, JT broke her silence again, this time not with tears or anger, but with confidence. She went live with Young Miami beside her. The two sat side by side, dressed casually, but clearly ready to speak their truth. JT looked straight into the camera and said, "I want everybody to know I ain't scared of no man with Wi-Fi. You can't expose me with something I already survived. I'm still standing, and I'm not ashamed of my past." It was powerful. Fans flooded the comments, calling her brave for addressing it head-on. She didn't say Santana's name once, but she didn't have to. Everyone knew who she was referring to. Santana's response came hours later, and it wasn't the one fans expected. Instead of another rant, he posted a single sentence on Twitter: "You win." That cryptic tweet threw everyone off. Had he given up the fight, or was he planning something bigger? Over the next few days, more behind-the-scenes stories began leaking. Apparently, mutual friends tried to mediate. They said both JT and Santana were being stubborn, refusing to apologize or back down. Even Young Miami reportedly told people she missed the old days when they were all laughing together. But the trust was gone, and in the celebrity world, trust is everything. As public outrage built, brands started taking a stand. A cosmetics company, Santana, recently collaborated with quietly removed his image from their campaign. The statement read, "We do not condone the sharing of private content without consent." That single move hit his pocket hard, and it showed that even in the entertainment world, there are consequences for crossing moral lines. Meanwhile, JT's image began to recover. She leaned into her music, teasing new lyrics that seemed to reference the situation. One line that caught everyone's attention was, "You tried to play me dirty, but I cleaned the scene myself." Fans flooded her comments, saying she was reclaiming her power through art. But deep down, insiders say the pain still lingered. JT felt betrayed by someone who once called her sister. She reportedly told close friends that she didn't just lose a friend, she lost a part of her past that can never be repaired. Then came a shocking twist. A verified gossip account posted screenshots of private text messages that allegedly showed Santana apologizing to JT in the texts. He admitted that things got out of hand and that he never meant for the video to leak. The messages ended with a heartbreaking line: "You were my family. I just wanted you to respect me again." JT didn't respond publicly, but fans noticed that a few hours later, she reposted an old video of them laughing together from years ago with no caption. It was short-lived, she deleted it within an hour. But that one gesture made people wonder if she was ready to forgive. The internet had other ideas. Fans were divided, some calling for peace, others demanding accountability. "You can forgive someone privately," one user wrote. But leaking someone's privacy publicly isn't just drama, it's a crime. The debate took over social media, with both fan bases battling it out. As the tension continued, other celebrities started speaking out. Cardi B tweeted, "Y'all too grown to be leaking stuff? Handle your beef without violating people." Even Lizzo commented under a post saying, "We gotta do better as a community. This ain't entertainment, it's trauma." The message was clear, the industry was watching. Santana went live again days later, visibly emotional. For the first time, his tone wasn't defensive. "I was hurt," he said. "I felt betrayed and I reacted out of anger. But I never leaked nothing. I wouldn't do that to nobody I loved." Fans didn't know what to believe anymore. Was he being genuine or just trying to save his career? The comments were filled with mixed emotions, some offering forgiveness, others accusing him of fake tears. But then another twist hit. A tech blogger released a report suggesting that the metadata of the leaked clip traced back to an IP address associated with one of Santana's close associates. That meant that even if he didn't directly post it, it came from someone in his immediate circle. Someone who had access through him. Jate's team reportedly seized on that revelation. Her lawyers were preparing to pursue legal action. Not necessarily to win money, but to send a message that, celebrity or not, boundaries still matter as all this unfolded. One thing became clear. This feud had outgrown the internet. It was no longer about petty insults or viral moments. It was about the price of betrayal in a world where loyalty can be sold for clicks. By the end of that week, both Saucy Santana and JT had stopped posting. The silence was eerie. For the first time, the internet didn't know what would happen next. Would JT go through with a lawsuit? Would Santana finally tell the full truth about what happened? One thing's for sure, the damage had been done. Their friendship, once full of laughter and loyalty, now stood as a warning to every influencer and celebrity in the game. But just when everyone thought the fire was dying out, a new clip surfaced, one that hinted that someone else may have been manipulating the entire situation from behind the scenes. And if that's true, both JT and Santana may have been pawns in a much bigger scandal. Part 3 reveals how deep the setup really went, and why the truth might shock everyone involved, just when everyone thought the story was finished. Another bombshell dropped, one that flipped the entire narrative upside down. It started late one night when a Twitter account posted a 3-minute voice recording allegedly featuring someone from Saucy Santana's inner circle, admitting that the leak wasn't Santana's doing. The voice claimed they were approached by a third party, someone who wanted to teach JT a lesson and get Santana riled up at the same time. Within hours, the clip had millions of views. Suddenly, the entire internet was questioning everything. Had both of them been manipulated? Was someone behind the scenes stirring the pot for attention, clout, or revenge? Insiders close to both artists began speaking out, suggesting that there had been growing tension between their teams long before the drama went public. Apparently, JT and Santana had both been negotiating new branding deals, and a public feud between them brought attention that conveniently benefited others, particularly certain PR figures who thrived off controversy. The narrative began to shift. Fans who had turned against Santana started to wonder if he'd been set up. His anger had been fueled by carefully planted rumors meant to push him over the edge. The situation was messy, but it finally opened the door to the truth. Behind closed doors, JT's legal team was piecing together data logs, metadata trails, and communications linked to the leak. What they found was shocking. The video had first been uploaded from an anonymous burner account that used a VPN, but the payment method for that VPN was tied to an individual who'd once worked on Santana's PR team. The person had been fired months before after leaking confidential information to blogs. That revelation changed everything. For the first time, JT's team realized that while the connection to Santana's circle was real, he might not have been the one who actually orchestrated the leak. It was a betrayal within a betrayal. JT's lawyer reached out privately to Santana's team, asking for cooperation. And though it took a few days, Santana agreed. He knew this might be his only chance to clear his name. The two sides began exchanging information quietly. No social media, no public statements, Just two damaged reputations trying to repair the truth. Meanwhile, fans started noticing the silence. There were no new tweets, no shade, no subs. For the first time in months, both JT and Santana seemed to be off the grid. People speculated that they might be working things out behind the scenes, but nobody knew for sure. Then came the most surprising move of all. JT and Santana were spotted at the same private event in Miami. It wasn't a concert or party. It was a closed industry mixer. And multiple witnesses confirmed they were in the same room, sitting just a few feet apart. They didn't hug or laugh like old times, but they didn't argue either. One attendee described the atmosphere as tense but respectful, saying, "You could tell they both knew too much damage had been done." But there was a silent understanding between them. A week later, JT dropped a post that broke the internet. It was a single photo, a black screen with the words, "The truth always finds its way out." She didn't tag anyone, but fans immediately connected it to the leaked voice recording and the new revelations. Santana reposted the same quote hours later. The internet erupted. Blogs, podcasts, and gossip shows began dissecting the timeline again, trying to figure out who was really responsible for starting the chaos. Several sources began pointing fingers at a former mutual friend. Someone who'd been around during the early days of JT and Santana's friendship. A person known for stirring drama for attention. Soon after, screenshots began surfacing showing that same person messaging gossip pages weeks before the leak happened, hinting that a big story involving JT and Santana was coming. The receipts were undeniable. By now, JT and Santana's reputations had been dragged through months of online humiliation. But the new truth shifted the narrative from betrayal to manipulation. Both had been targeted, both had reacted emotionally, both had paid the price. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Santana went live again, but this time, his tone was calm, remorseful, and transparent. "I ain't perfect," he said. "I reacted wrong. I said things I shouldn't have said. But I need y'all to understand, I ain't leaked no tape. I was hurt, I was angry. But I ain't do that. I lost one of my realest friends over something fake." That live went viral. Not because it was messy, but because it felt real. People could see the exhaustion in his face, the regret in his words. Comments flooded in with people saying they forgave him, that he'd been played just like JT shortly after. JT reposted a clip from that live with the caption, "Sometimes forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you." Fans took that as a sign that she was finally ready to move on. Industry figures began speaking up again, but this time with empathy. Cardi B tweeted, proud of both of them for handling it like grown folks. Megan Thee Stallion wrote, "People don't realize how many fake hands are in this industry. Glad they seen the truth." For once, the conversation wasn't about scandal, it was about healing. Weeks later, JT appeared in an interview and confirmed what fans had hoped for. "I don't have no hate in my heart," she said. "I was mad, I was embarrassed, but I learned that sometimes people will do anything to see you fall. Me and Saucy, we were friends before the fame, and no matter what happened, I'll always wish him the best." The interviewer pressed her about whether they'd ever rebuild their friendship. She smiled faintly and replied, "Time heals everything. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm not carrying that pain anymore." Around the same time, Santana announced he was taking a break from social media to focus on real life. He deleted hundreds of old posts, including the ones that started the feud. His final tweet before going silent read, "Sometimes you've got to lose everything to realize who you were before the fame." The fans who had watched the drama unfold for months began reflecting on the situation too. It became a lesson in how quickly the internet can turn private pain into public entertainment, and how people forget that celebrities are human beings, capable of being manipulated, hurt, and broken just like anyone else. Months later, JT dropped a surprise single. The lyrics told a story of betrayal, forgiveness, and growth. One line stood out. "They played us like puppets on a string, but I cut mine and kept my crown shining." The song shot to the top of the charts, not just because of the beat or the flow, but because everyone knew exactly what she meant by the end of it all. Both artists had come out the other side scarred but wiser. They learned that fame could make a friend an enemy overnight, and that not every fight was worth losing your peace over. What started as a petty insult turned into one of the most talked about scandals of the year. But it ended with a message bigger than any leak or tweet: that forgiveness, truth, and resilience are stronger than any lie. And as for that mysterious third party who started it all, they disappeared from the public eye completely. Their social media wiped clean, their name forgotten, but their chaos left a lasting mark. Because in the world of fame, where secrets sell and loyalty is a gamble, sometimes the loudest drama hides the quietest setups. The story of Saucy Santana and JT didn't just expose betrayal, it exposed how dangerous it can be when fame, pride, and hurt collide. But in the end, they both proved something no rumor could erase. Real strength is surviving the storm without letting it change who you are. And that right there is the raw truth behind one of the wildest and most emotional feuds the internet has seen in years. From loyalty and laughter to betrayal and exposure, the journey between JT and Saucy Santana reminds everyone that in the entertainment world, friendships can turn into battlefields overnight. What's even more powerful is how both of them chose to rise above the mess and reclaim their peace, showing that real strength doesn't come from clapping back. It comes from surviving the storm and standing tall after it passes. But the question still remains: will time ever heal the bond between JT and Santana? Or have they both learned that some friendships are meant to be lessons, not lifetimes? One thing's for sure, this story has shaken the entire industry and reminded everyone that fame without trust is nothing but noise. If you've been following this drama from the start, you already know Celebrity Trap keeps you plugged into every twist, every leak, and every truth behind the headlines. So if you don't want to miss the next shocking update, hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, and drop a comment below. Do you think JT should forgive Santana? Or was the damage simply too deep? Because in this world of fame, loyalty, and lies, the next story could explode at any moment. And when it does, we'll be right here to break it all down.